What's going on, guys? Wade here. We are out in the cemetery and I'm actually with my dad today. He's hanging out back there in the shade right now. Got Father's Day weekend and Juneteenth weekend. We decided to come out and reset one of these monuments here. We've got a traditional white marble obelisk here, but as you can see, it's leaning quite heavily. We can't tell who the name is on this just yet, but I will come back later and I'll give you the story of who this is. But we're gonna get this one reset. So we're gonna dig this base up, excavate around this.
This is the grave of Lucinda Edgerly, born 1821 in New York. When I'm out doing conservation work like this, it gives you a lot of time to think peacefully, to let your mind wander. Your work is still in front of you, but it's just kind of like hiking in the woods. You get your chance to have your mind be free. I think a lot about who the people are here in the cemetery and who's buried in front of me. Really trying to respect them and who they were and their family. For Lucinda, it was her husband, Edward Edgerly. They had 9 children together, starting with Caroline in 1840, followed by Polly, George, Martin, Eliza, Amanda, Sarah, Joseph, and finally Ellen in 1857. She was keeping house, and the records really don't give much information on her, but they do tell a little bit about Edward and his employment. He was a laborer. The family moved around a fair bit in southeast Michigan. One can assume that they were following work. Life was probably challenging for them, trying to find a job, steady work. Maybe he had really great employment, but the records really don't tell us. But they certainly did move around. They were in Hudson, Wright, and Somerset, Michigan. Lucinda and her husband were living with their son George in Minnesota in 1880 and presumed to be staying there at the time of her death in 1884. Her husband Edward died later in 1901. We always spend a tremendous amount of time leveling the base. That's the work that you're seeing here. Without a level base and a solid foundation, the monument is doomed to fail and to fall over eventually. It will always happen. So we spend extra time and we're diligent at creating a great solid foundation with this crushed stone and making sure that it's level to be able to write this monument once again.
You guys hit me up a lot asking me if I use a drill brush or if I should, and I do sometimes. On mating surfaces like that, we're gonna use this. This is the Rotoscrub. You can pick this up at Lowe's. You can use something aggressive on these mating surfaces. So this is the base, this is the upper base. You can work away at this. There's a lot of dirt buildup here. It's a limestone base, and you can see that there's disintegrating a bit. There's sometimes remnants of older mortar that's here, and we need to get that off. So something that's a little bit more abrasive like this would be perfect in these instances. So just a electric drill. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna cut lead wedge. This is a number 2 lead wedge. And we just cut off 4 spacers, and these go in the corners. So I end up taking these and I'll set them just like this. Right here as a contact point, so we just don't want to get them dirty. So there's one there, right in there, slide it under, get it under maybe an inch or so, work it with your fingers, doesn't have to go too far. Okay, and that is that. So that's going to be our epoxy. This is just setting component. It's like a lot of linseed oil and some other things that it'll sort of oxidize over time. So I ended up just lifting that with a fulcrum. That'll slide out. No fingers, and then out. And okay, so now it's a really light stone. Like there's not a lot of weight here. We have to kind of help it seat itself. Kind of twist on it because otherwise it'll just float on top of that putty. So if we wiggle it, it'll help it get it right down to those spacers and it'll bind and lock itself on. This will take me 30 seconds. Part of the reason a lot of this stuff fails, people use the wrong products, but they also don't clean. If this isn't clean, it'll bind to dirt and things that aren't actually stone. The more time we spend doing this, the better off we are. One just there, make sure it's footed nicely, planted. If you want to just take this all the way back so that I can reach up and put the chain link on it. Perfect. Then you can bring it back up. What I'm gonna do on the first lift is just to get it vertical. So you can actually maybe take it back 6 inches. So let me get some lumber underneath. The goal is to make sure that we don't get that dirty. Since we've cleaned it, the last thing we wanna do is get it dirty again. So we'll probably just get it up, set it, I'll balance it, and then we'll get it here. Perfect, yep. Go ahead and put some tension back on it again, and we're gonna reposition the hoist. Now let me get my spacers done. So now you're gonna go down very slowly. So basically like one chain link at a time. Good, all the way down. Yep. So hot, it's getting sticky. The putty is, it's not normally crazy sticky. Squeeze is so satisfying. So why didn't I clean this earlier? Honestly, I forgot. This stone is going to clean up really, really well. This is just water.